Paul from 123 Drone. As always, thank you very much for pressing play and thank you for watching. In this video, I'm going to be going through a full workflow of how I create the AI style video walkthroughs using still imagery and adding in some drone footage as well of a real estate shoot. So because this might be quite a longish video, because it's in sections basically, I'm out on site showing you how where I position the camera and how I do the shoots. I'm also showing you my camera settings and then the workflow of how I process the images and then into the video section as well. I'm actually going to put on the screen some timestamps if you like, so if you want to go straight to that section and bypass any of it, you can do. Hopefully you'll watch the whole video because I think there's something to learn in each part of it really. So let's get out on site so I can show you the property and how I photographed it. So the camera I'll be using today will be the Insta-Ace Pro 2, and I'll be using this Ulanzi telescopic tripod as well. And the idea will be to capture a number of images in each room, each location. But then what we'll also do is we will sort of plan the route out with the images as if you were using a camera to create a video tour. Then that way you'll get a nice flow through the property. So I'm going to go through my camera settings with you now. Okay, so these are my settings for the Insta-Ace Pro 2. Obviously you're in the camera mode and you want to click on the camera icon here and set the camera to 50 megapixels. I use the 4.3 ratio and I shoot in PureShot and RAW, so JPEG and RAW basically. When it comes to processing the images, I use Auto HDR, and that actually takes JPEG images as well as RAW, and actually I've tested it and the JPEGs come out just as good as the RAW images. And then if you're not using a remote, or if you're not using the app on your phone to take the shot, then I'd recommend using a timer here, which you can set between 3 seconds and 15 seconds. Okay, then I shoot in linear mode, so that gives the least, it's still a wide angle, but it gives the least distortion in the image. You can obviously play around with these, it's whatever is your own preference, but I find that linear mode gives a good wide angle without any distortion. And then if you swipe left on the screen, it will come into our settings. I shoot in manual mode, and then if we scroll down here, we've got the profiles. So again, personal preference, but I find that Leica Natural works for me. I've tested quite a few of these, including the standard, but the Leica Natural seems to give the best results. Okay, then the ISO I have set to the lowest, which is 100, and the white balance I leave that on auto, and EV on 0. Okay, so when it comes to shutter speed, this is where shooting bracketed photos, it's very important to make sure that your camera doesn't move. So you definitely need to be using a tripod. Don't hold the camera, and because obviously you're taking multiple shots, whether it's 3 brackets, 5 bracketed photos, or even sometimes more than that, you want the camera to remain still in one position. So I tend to shoot with 5 bracketed photos, so I take a shot which allows for the correct exposure, and then 2 either side. And I find that this gives, or has given me, the best results when I've processed the images through Auto HDR. Okay, so obviously it's important to use a good tripod and to make sure that your camera is lined up and it's nice and straight, so you've got your vertical lines and your horizontal lines, so it's as straight as possible. Obviously you can correct some in post, but the less work you've got to do in post, the better. So we're going to go outside now, pop outside and take a couple of images of the front of the house, because as I say, we're going to follow the images through as if we were creating a video tour of the property at the same time. Okay, so the outside shots are done. I'm just going to now photograph this first room as you come in, and obviously I've made sure that the blinds are open because you want as much natural light coming in as possible. So obviously in here we have got some quite nice spotlights, so I think I'm going to leave them on for this shot because it's quite a dark day outside. But yeah, we'll get this room done, and what the idea will be here is, yes, to photograph the room, but also you want to think about the drone movement, or the camera movement should I say, the drone effect. So obviously you've come into the front door, you've got a shot looking into the property itself, so probably a nice shot would then be to maybe swing round to this side of the room, so that then you've got a focal point of the window, two walls, the door, and obviously the fireplace as well. So as you can see, I've taken a few shots of that room, because then that way we can play around with it in post, and then if we're not happy with the first sort of camera movement, then we can maybe utilise one of the other angles, so we can try different camera movement when we create the video tour. Okay, so now we've taken the shots of the first room, what we want to think about, as well as the photos of the next room, is to think about the route, if you like, that the camera movement on the tour is going to come from. So we really want to be as close to this room as possible. Then when you create the tour later on with the AI software, you're not going to get any artifacts. If you hide sort of things and it has to create stuff, then that's really what you don't want, because you want a clean before and after image, so that what you're actually seeing is exactly what's in the property, rather than the AI creating, as I say, artifacts later on. So as you can see, we've got this direct doorway here coming from the first room. We've got a staircase here on the left, and then you go into the second room there. So again, quite small and tight, but we've actually got quite a nice shot from capturing it from the corner of this room, looking towards the back end of that room. You've got the kitchen in the background as well. You've got a small conservatory on the back, and we're also still getting the staircase in, which is quite a nice shot as well. Okay, so now we've got that first shot as you come through into this room. We're now going to repeat the process in this room and think about, firstly, how many images we want to show of this room, and also the sort of route that the camera movement, if you like, onto the next shot as well. Okay, so we're going to follow that same process and then get some shots going from the conservatory into the garden, and then once we've got those done, we'll get the kitchen done as well. So I think with the kitchen shot, it's quite nice that maybe after we've done the garden in the video, you would then maybe have a natural cut or switch from the garden into the kitchen. So we're actually going to start the kitchen shot from here, rather than have it coming from this area into the kitchen. So as you can see, we've now placed the camera. The beauty of this tripod, sorry, is that we're able to place the camera on top of the work surface here, which is going to give us this nice angle shot. So you should have a nice smooth transition coming across. And I'll probably do the same from this side of the room, because it's such a small kitchen. At least that way we'll be able to get some sort of camera movement when we create the tour later on. Okay, so the kitchen shots are done, and as you can see, we've got a small shower room off the back of the kitchen here. So very tight space, and actually really tight, because you've got the sink on one side over there, and then you've got behind the door, you've then got the toilet, and then you've got the shower inside as well. So, but again, this is a really good example of how creating a tour this way works really, really well. So these bathroom shots sort of demonstrate really why I like to use this type of camera and this sort of setup, because it means that you can actually get right into the corners, leave the camera in there while you're controlling the shots on the app, as you can see. So we've actually got a really good shot there of the corner of the room, where you can see pretty much everything, the toilet, the shower, and also the hand basin as well. And with the door shut, it makes for a really nice shot. Okay, in the second bedroom, or the master bedroom, I think this one's slightly bigger, we've actually got quite a nice feature fireplace here. So what I'm going to do is to set the camera up so it's got a shot of the actual fireplace and then another shot in one of the corners of the room. So then that way we can then create a shot later on where the camera movement comes from the fireplace and then sort of moves backwards towards a corner of the room, or vice versa. We can reverse it so it's showcasing and moving towards the fireplace. Okay, so in this bedroom we've got these cupboards here. So I think what I'm going to do is to get a shot with the cupboard doors shut and then one with them open. Then that way, when we do a sort of a shot, a pan around shot if you like, later on in post creating the video, we may be able to get it so that the doors actually open as the camera movement, as the camera swings round the room. So that might look quite cool as well. Okay, so that's the inside of the house done, the front of the house, back garden. So now we're going to try and get some aerial shots because of the locality of the property here, so close to the beach as well. So I thought it'd be quite nice to maybe get some aerial shots and then we can utilise those when we create the tour later. Okay, so the property is about 300 yards from here. So there's absolutely no way you could not get some drone shots, or at least some beach shots, to help the agent with this listing. It's an absolutely amazing location. Deal Pier in that direction. You've got all these boats here, not all used I would imagine, and then you've got Sailing Club. So as I say, the property is literally 300 yards, if probably not even that, 250 yards in that direction. So we'll get some drone shots now and we can add those to the tour and also to the photos for the agent, which will help them, I'm sure, sell this property. So now back at the laptop, and I'm going to show you how I process the images first of all through Auto HDR, and then we're going to dive in and I'm going to show you my process for creating the video clips for the video tour. Okay, so we're going to open Auto HDR, autohdr.com. And we're then going to find the images. Okay, so here we are with the home screen of Auto HDR, and this is where we're going to process the images, the bracketed photos. Very simple. You can either click on the browse files and go and grab your files, or you can open the folder and select all and drag and drop. So as you can see, we've got 5 images there of each shot. So we're going to select all and drag and drop those and just name the folder. Now you can change the settings on here as to how you want them to process the images, but I'm going to cover that in another video. So we'll let those process and then we'll come back as soon as they're ready to have a look. Okay, so the images are now processed. It took roughly an hour and a half. Yeah, so let's have a look at the final results. So obviously we have a vehicle here which we're going to need to remove. Same with that shot. So very happy with these. The window pool's great. The exposure in the rooms, I'm very happy with that, and I'm sure the client will be as well. Nice clean images. This shot here is where we used the slightly wider lens just to see if we could get a bit more of the room in. But all of the rest of these images were shot using the linear lens on the camera, and I have to say I'm very, very happy with these shots. Okay, so now we have all of our edited images that we have downloaded from Auto HDR, and I'll just flick through some of these so you can see. And we're now going to choose which ones or which of these images we're going to use to create the fly-through effect. So before we go into the video editing software, I just want to show you, obviously there were some vehicles on this image here, and I just put this image into Nano Banana Pro and asked it to remove the vehicle, and it did a really clean job here, but that's covered in other videos, so I don't really need to take you through that whole process as well, but you can do it, I'm sure you can do it in Photoshop as well. Okay, so the program we're going to be using to create the camera movement for the tour or the walkthrough is Higgsfield. So it's Higgsfield.ai, and you can obviously look at their subscription programs. This isn't a sponsored video. I'm just using this program because it's got all of the tools that I use in one place, and I find it very easy whether you're using it for image or video content. So yeah, Higgsfield.ai. And what I also like about Higgsfield is that you can create your asset library. So if you're working on projects, you can actually have them in libraries here and keep them nice and neat and tidy. Okay, so here's some I've already been playing around with. I've been experimenting with different angles, so I'm going to just run through a couple of these and then show you guys the finished video, because I don't want to go through every single room because we'll be here all day. And we're going to use Kling 2.5 or 2.5 Turbo. That gives us the start and the end frame. So if we pick now let's find a couple of shots. So for example, if we take this shot here and take the shot from the front room, so let's take this shot here. In fact, we're going to try something a little bit different on this one. So we're actually going to switch these images over. So we're coming from the lounge and then back into the dining room. So we're going to try a reverse drone style transition, and we want to make that a 10-second clip, so it's a nice smooth. We can always clip part of that, we don't have to use a full 10 seconds, but obviously if you do it as 5 seconds it's going to be quite fast. So let's see how it deals with the reverse drone style transition. Okay, so that prompt actually worked. So we have what worked here, which is the reverse movement from living room through open door into dining room, and this was the result. So again, that's a clip that you could run either way. You could reverse that in post. I quite like the reverse movement because it breaks up, I think it will break up the video rather than it all being forward movements throughout the video. So I'm just going to run through a few of the other shots that I did, and then you can see hopefully how we're then starting to build up a tour of the actual property itself. So if we start with this one here, which is the shot coming from the house, front of the house, sorry, into the first room. That was just a 5-second clip. And the prompt on this one was smooth drone style transition. That was it. Okay. And then we have this shots here, which comes then from the room that we've flown reversed into, coming in towards the kitchen area. So that then comes around the corner to reveal the kitchen, which is quite a nice shot. And again, that's the beauty of taking the shot at that angle of the kitchen. So as it comes around the corner, it then reveals most of the kitchen. And then we have the shots of the, we'll do this one next, which is the shot coming from the kitchen down towards the shower room. And then we'll probably have a nice cut from that, which will then show the rest of the kitchen here, bathroom here. So that's just a nice little turn to reveal the shower, basin and toilet. And this one here, this takes us from the conservatory. As you can see, the door opens and then, or lean-to should I say, and then it flies through into the garden, which is quite a nice shot. So with these shots, with the doors opening, literally all I've put on there is smooth drone style shot, doors slide open, doors slide left to open. So it's quite important, I think, because sometimes if you just put doors open on that shot, then it may think that it's a door that opens outwards or inwards, so it wouldn't slide, whereas this is actually a sliding door, so it's quite important to put that on there. And then one other one I wanted to show you is where the doors open in the bedroom. So this is a static shot because we've already got some movement, and all we did with this one is we loaded in the shot of the image with the doors closed and then the image with the doors open, and we just put here no camera movement, doors open slowly. So then what you end up with is the doors opening in that room. And then we have already a shot sort of coming from the landing into this room, which is a nice shot around, panning around the room. And then the second shot could then be where the doors open. Okay, so I just want to show you one of the drone shots and how we created that one. So this is a shot that comes from a drone image. And then down towards the front of the house. And then we can transition from another shot going through the front door. And here's another couple of drone shots. I have taken some drone footage as well, but I just did these as add-ons in case we want to add anything in. So this is just an aerial image of the property, which is down here, and then another aerial image of the area location, which I've run through Nano Banana Pro to turn it into a night image. And then the prompt is going to be smooth reverse transition going from day to night, and then we're also going to add in there fast moving clouds, motion blur. Okay, and we're going to run that for 10 seconds. Okay, so here's what we ended up with on the first run. Might make a nice sort of ending shot at the end of the video. I might run this another couple of times, or at least one more time, just to see if we can start the lights coming on a bit later in the scene. And there's a bit of strangeness going on down here as well. So we'll run that again. So as you can see, I've created a few different scenes here, which then gives me the option to work out how I want to lay the video out later on. I'm not going to go through the process of putting the video together. I'll leave that to you guys and whatever software you tend to use, whether it's Premiere Pro, CapCut, Final Cut Pro, all of these clips will work. Okay, so you do have the option as well in Higgsfield to upscale the video if that's what you want to do. So you go into the video section here, scroll to the bottom, and you've got video upscale. So you click on that and you can click on then the video that you want, video clip that you want. So if we choose this clip here, which is a 10-second clip, and you can upscale that to 1K, 2K or 4K. Obviously the original was 1660 by 1244. So if we want to increase that to a 4K clip, that would take 11 credits, or a 2K clip would be also 11 credits. So, and you've got an option here on which software you want to use. So this is you currently using Topaz Video. You can use Sora Enhancer or Higgsfield Upscaler, and I believe that gives you the option there of 1080. Oh, sorry, no, Higgsfield, that's coming soon. So I would suggest either Sora 2 Enhancer or Topaz Video. Unless you've got Topaz Video as a standalone piece of software, then again you can load the clip into that, and you can also change some of the parameters down here as well. I think the thing to ask yourself is, what resolution do you need? Where's this going to be played? Most real estate agents will be playing this, will be uploading this to probably Rightmove and social media. So generally speaking, 1080p would be good enough. So yeah, it really just depends on what your client's needs are. So let's now show you the final video that I created and the clips that I decided to use. Well, just want to say thank you for watching. I hope this tutorial, or this workflow demonstration if you like, helps if you're thinking about adding this to your services. Don't get me wrong, I love FPV fly-throughs and creating video for property in other ways, but sometimes this use case can work quite well. And also, if you are creating photos or capturing photos for an agent and you're not offering this service, then I think you're possibly missing out, or vice versa if you're doing video not offering photos. So this is certainly something worth exploring, and then maybe add it to your portfolio. And I'm going to be doing a breakdown on my actual what I charge for various jobs. That video is coming soon, so please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching.